Hi guys.
Hi.
So, um, we are doing part 2 of a video that I posted. So I posted a video about how God spoke directly to my heart through the story of Jairus in Mark 5. I think it's Mark 5. Mark 5. And the healing of his daughter and the healing of the woman with the blood. And those words, don't be afraid, just believe, right? Don't be afraid, only believe.
So easy to do, isn't
Right,
it?
I know. I was just gonna say, like, man, I feel like it's almost like, you know what, Jesus, that's easy for you to say. Not that it is, but like, I mean, I'm sure that like we heard his prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane. I think believing was easy. What he had to do wasn't necessarily easy. Um, so we're here to make part 2 because God has continued to work this out
Yeah.
in us. I would say that even as of here's how I think sometimes things work in my head, like an admission on my part. God does this beautiful thing one morning in my quiet time, and he says, just believe. And it's like he is just right there with me, right? He is, oh, so good. And so then what I think I expect in my heart is, okay, I learned my lesson. So now he's going to give me the thing. Whatever it is that I'm waiting for, right? Like he's going to provide this or he's going to do that, cuz I learned my lesson. Very scholastic in that way. I got the lesson down, so now I get the reward, right? It's not the way God works. And so I think after that, I was still caught in the tension.
The tension's a really easy place to get caught in. So honestly, what ended up happening that very specific morning was she went and she had her quiet time and she was met very deeply. I slept a little bit later and then I got up and I went to go do my quiet time and she thought I was going to be met in exactly the same way. And I wasn't. Like I left my quiet time not necessarily with more questions, but still just pondering, God, what are you gonna do? Um, because I mean, it's really the season that we've been in for a long time. But really, the value of that is that we constantly have our eyes on God and we're constantly looking to see what He's going to do in our lives because we need Him too.
Mm. There's just It's just it's what he's called us to. And I don't think it's what he calls everyone in ministry to. I don't think that it's always the way, but for us very specifically, this is where he's called us and he's continued to confirm that. It's just a really scary season, but the last thing we want to do though is focus on our scary season because here's the thing, you all have
Scary seasons,
scary
and some of
seasons.
yours are much scarier than ours, and we recognize that too.
Yeah, whether it's illness or host of other things, job changes, job like whatever it is, we all walk through scary seasons and we all walk through seasons where I think we're like, God, what are you doing? And we want to be, I don't know about you guys, but later in Mark, I think it's Mark 9, Jesus goes, the disciples cannot take a demon out of cast a demon out of this one boy, right? They just keep trying and they couldn't do it. And it's another time where Jesus walks up and he's like, oh, how long am I gonna have to put up with you people? Um, but the father says, if you can do anything, help, right? If you can do anything. And Jesus says to him, if you can,
Yeah.
anything is possible for the one who like for the one who believes, like anything, nothing is impossible. um and that's when this father says words that I think we can all wrap our minds and hearts around. He says, I do believe, help my unbelief. I do believe, I absolutely believe, help my unbelief. um And so that's where I think we've been. I do believe you can do anything, but will you?
Mm. And I think what's hard about that is you keep going, but am I worthy of what Christ is going to do?
No.
And no, you're not.
No, we're
But
not.
but you know, if you're a son, if you're a daughter, to come before King and ask for forgiveness, to do the return of the prodigal, go, I know that in your house there's plenty. I know that you love me and I know that you will take care of me, even if I am just serving you. Being around you is enough. If we can do that, I think God meets us there and he continues to run towards us.
So this is what this looks like for us. Last night, we had a normal night. Like things were fine, but I found myself, I don't know, looking at my phone. I've taken Facebook off my phone. I've taken Instagram off my phone, but I'm still like looking for something. And I told Josiah, I said, I feel like I'm using my phone and I'm just looking for something. I'm like looking for the next step, looking for a sign, looking for the way, looking for something. And my phone is not it, right? Like but, but my heart, I told him, I said, I'm just so discouraged still. And I know that he said, just believe. I'm still just scared. He said, don't be afraid. And I'm still afraid, like tears going on. So I'm still afraid. Um, Sometimes we feed off each other because as I admitted my fear and trepidation, I think Josiah's came to the surface as well.
Yeah, I think I ended up latching onto that very much in the moment, just kind of recognizing the tension of where we're at. In reality, we want to live lives where God has to show up. Where if we don't live in such a way that God has to show up and it's all completely reliant on us, then we've really kind of lived in failure anyway. So if we live in a place where God has to show up, there's always gonna be a tension. And we find ourselves constantly in that tension, and sometimes we just want it to go away. But the only way that we're gonna really see it go is if we lean in more.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's what happened. So I expressed all my fear and frustration,
Which I then took upon myself.
yeah, which then, helped him spiral, which is great. But not 10 minutes later, as we got ready for bed, I went to go take a shower and I got ready for bed. And it was like the Holy Spirit just plunked something down into my brain. He said, if Paul learned to be content in every circumstance, which is in Philippians 4, I think it's like 12 and 13. If Paul learned how to be content in every circumstance, how do you think he learned? And for context, that whole passage is like, I've learned to be content with a little and I've learned to be content with a lot. But then it goes into the verse that people always use, but I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that's very much taken out of context sometimes, but he says, I've learned how to have a little and I've learned how to have a lot. And then I thought about these books, these children, tween, teen books that I've been reading to the kids. And I would love to tell you that I've only been reading them to the kids, but I read them twice. They're a series of like dragon books by Brian Davis, who was at the homeschool convention this year in Richmond, if anybody caught him there. But I love these books so much, and I'm reading them to the kids. And now we're on the fourth book in the first like set of series. There's like three series that all go together. Each has 4 books. So there's like 12. And so we're finishing that first series. And there's one girl who sounds so convoluted. So she ends up being taken by Morgan Le Fay. And she's who is, yes, from the Arthurian legends. It's a whole thing. But she is put into the sixth circle of Hades. You'd have to read the series. Just bear with me. So she's in the sixth circle of Hades. Sorry, somebody. I thought somebody was coming in. Our kids are around here somewhere.
Yeah,
We're at the
we
church.
assumed it was our kids.
So do you hear them? Can you? I don't know if you can hear them.
It is our kids. They're out there arguing in the hallway whether or not they should interrupt.
Fun. I'm not even gonna edit it out, so it's fine. So she's there, and she's told like Morgan's food. If you take food from Morgan, it leads to death. So you can't take Morgan's food. So she's there for 15 years with only there's a flower that grows, and this flower she eats it once a day. It only grows once a day, and she eats it, and it makes her. It's sweet when it goes into her mouth, but it's bitter in her stomach. And and that's all she has for 15 years. But with that, she learns contentment. And even once she leaves, even once she's rescued, even once she's it it forms the rest of her life. And she says, I have all that I really need. No matter what the circumstance. She says, I have all that I really need. And that really spoke to me last night. You don't learn contentment from having everything you want. You don't learn contentment from being comfortable. You don't learn contentment from being in the best circumstances. You don't learn Paul learned contentment in that situation by having a little. And man, once God deposited that word in my heart again, it was like, okay, peace. I understand what you're doing.
Yeah, and as you're saying that, I'm remembering the story of the woman who came before Jesus, and Jesus referred to her as a dog. And like, you don't have any right here. This is for this. And she goes, but don't the dogs even have the right to eat crumbs from the table? And I'm going like, are we satisfied even with the crumbs of Jesus? With whatever that he's giving us? And sometimes we are. And
Sometimes we're not.
We're really not.
I think, but what is it you said today? I asked you how your quiet time went this morning. And what did you say you keep hearing?
Did I give you enough for today? Do you have enough to make it through the day? And I think that that was one of the hard things. It's like, yeah, but we got to do this later. And then there's this, and then there's that, and there's this. And he goes, but are you good for today? Do you have what you need for today?
Matthew 6, right?
And I go, yeah, but yeah. And kind of sitting there a little bit going, okay, I need to press into gratitude. But also kind of going, is what God has given me for today enough for me? Knowing that God has met my needs for today, am I not satisfied with that? Am I not grateful for that because I'm focused on tomorrow? And that's been a hard push. So even with that,
Sometimes we hear things from each other in real time, and I'm very much like, oh, I mean, that's what it says though. Matthew 6 says, don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about what you're going to wear. Don't worry about what you're going to eat, right? Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added. And if we're seeking for the things of tomorrow today, and we're forgetting to be thankful for what we have today because we're worried about tomorrow,
Yeah.
Oh,
So it was actually kind of a continuation because after the conversation we had last night, I went to go get in the shower. I put praise and worship on uh, through Pandora, and Brandon Lake's Gratitude came up, and I almost wanted to skip it. And I knew because of
oh,
that,
mm,
because I wanted to, I knew that I couldn't. Like, am I gonna be grateful for what's in front of me, even though I could put whatever list behind it that I did? And is God good? Has God given me enough? His mercies are new each morning. Do I trust that? Will I lean into that? Will I accept that? And will I embrace it? Or am I going to sit there and turn it away because it's not enough for me? Yeah. And it's been it's been complicated like over the last 12 hours sitting there and going like, okay, well, I feel like different things that I put my hands to have failed or are failing. They're not as successful as I want them to be anyway.
yeah, I think our definition of failure might be
Yeah. But
skew.
even I was led to pray last night because I don't think I would have done it. That even if all of my dreams die, even if everything that I put my hands to dies, the spirit within me needs to be brought forward. There are parts within me that do need to die so he can be magnified.
Mm.
And I have to be okay with the different things around me that need to die, whether or not that's pride, which, yeah, that, like, like it was just kind of looking at myself and there and just going like, yeah, of course it is. Like, I want to be able to do things. I want to be able to do things and show God to some degree what I can do. And guess what? He wants to show me what he can do. And if I'm in the way, sometimes he lets me fall on my face first. And God has always taken care of us. We know beyond a shadow of a doubt that he loves us. We know that he has always taken care of us. I think that we really know that he will always take care of us. We just get blinded by the moment, like Peter and the waves crashing around him as he's stepping out of the boat, and he's looking at all the waves and he's distracted by it and he takes his eyes off of Jesus. I think that that's our battle.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking with someone, and we'll probably end with this. I was talking with somebody, um, just actually said this a few times. I was literally just in a meeting with somebody, and I told them that I keep coming back to the word kavah in Hebrew. It is the word for wait or trust in Isaiah 40:31. I always mess this up, but those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength, rise up on wings like eagles. Am I getting that right? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's Isaiah 40:31. It's a very common passage. Um, I've been in seasons where I've been like, I'm waiting on the Lord and my strength is not renewed. I'm trying to trust in the Lord, but my strength is not renewed. I'm so tired. I'm so weary. So tired. I'm so weary. And that word wait or trust, trusting in the Lord. Um, it is a literal it's a Hebrew like picture word almost. So it's literally a cord that is tied right to. So we get the word wait, trust, and like that tension, the tension of the weight. Um, Here's the thing. So first of all, it reminded me as a cord is tied to, it reminded me to abide. Our strength is renewed. My phone is ringing. That's what he's looking at. We'll leave it. We'll get it in a minute. It's fine. Um, our strength is renewed as we wait on the Lord, as we abide in the Lord. But I think what we often do is we wait for what we want from the Lord and expect our strength to be renewed. And that is not the way. We abide in him. We abide with him. We wait. We trust in him, right? He keeps the mind in perfect peace. I tore down this verse the other day. And I say tore down as in dismantled and looked at all the pieces of. He will keep in perfect peace the mind that is dependent upon him because it's trusting in him, right? That's Isaiah 26:3. But you will keep in perfect peace the mind that is dependent upon you because it's trusting in you. But dependent on is it's literally like resting on, it's laying on, right? Something that is resting or leaning on or laying on something. Our minds must stay on the rock. The next verse talks about he is the everlasting rock, right? We have to stay dependent on him. We have to build on him. Everything must rest on him. That's where we get perfect peace. It's not from getting what we want. It's not from getting what we think we need. It's not from not experiencing hardships. It's not from any of that. It's all from staying tightly tied to him.
As you were saying that, we cling to our expectations. We cling to our hopes, but are we clinging to Jesus?
Mm.
Because I gotta tell you, there are these things that, God, we have these needs. Will you meet them? But am I looking for Jesus or am I looking for the needs to be met?
Mm.
And I think that that's really what we're talking about.
Yeah. So the next part of this, I guess, because you just reminded me that we've been talking, we just went through John 15 in our family devotions Bible study that we do. And just, I'm the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me, then you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. That part of John 15. I did some research on what keeps a vine from receiving what it needs.
Mhm.
Or excuse me, the branches from receiving what it needs from the vine. So that'll probably be the next part. We're just going to keep doing this and hope you enjoyed this very, what's the word?
Impromptu, unplanned.
We just have gotten to the point where we recognize the fact that, scripted is not our deal.
Yeah.
If we are doing a presentation, we will have a plan but generally speaking, we just want to be real with you guys and whatever God is doing in us, we want to share with you. And we often feel like that's best done just having conversations.
Yeah. And frankly, if we can and you would like to, we'd love to have these conversations face to face, actually with you. Um, because really, we're incredibly relational. That's what we want. We want to be able to walk beside people. We love the discipleship aspect of it. And this allows us to get our thoughts out there, but it does not connect us nearly as much as we want.
So, thank you guys for listening. And we'll see you for part 3.
Thank you.